How's it going, Monsignor?
Better this week.
Good.
Better this week, although we did have another snow event.
Yeah.
It really wasn't a snow event. It was
if you were driving in it.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. We closed early, and of course we had to reschedule our Children of Abraham interfaith conversation.
Yeah.
But I think we made the right decision, because although it turned to rain, people should have stayed home.
Yeah. And they wouldn't have come out anyway.
That's right. That's right.
I see you got a new mug, and not just the one on your face.
Yes. Well, funny. Yes. Well, Sunday was my birthday.
Yes.
I'm still celebrating, and my brother Anthony, who's a priest in the Metuchen Diocese, sent me an edible arrangement as a birthday gift, and it came with this mug.
Nice.
So I thought I'd use it.
Well, it's lovely.
Thank you.
Our youth group is going on a pilgrimage to the shrine in D.C.
Yes, next Saturday, March 2nd.
The 2nd, right. And
Yes.
if anybody's planning on going on that, the deadline is today. You got to contact our youth minister, Jean, at youthministry@strobert.cc, and you can sign up for that. That's for whole families, right? Not
Yes, yes, we hope that some parents and even younger children can go. We're doing it as a cohort event, so we're extending that invitation to the youth of St. Rose, St. Thomas More, and St. Joseph's.
in Millstone.
Yes.
All right, cool. So if you want to go, contact Jean today, please. And this weekend, we're getting ready to kick off the annual Catholic Appeal.
That's going to be a rough. In fact, it's important for people to realize that the money raised in the annual Catholic Appeal does not go to any type of payouts or any type of things connected to, let's say, the scandals or the cover-ups associated with them. It is basically to continue to run the diocese, especially the diocesan offices, also the support of our retired priests, and also the formation of future priests, and social outreach through various charities and social services the church supports. So that will be the focus, along with a video from our bishop at all our masses this weekend. And we hope to do well.
Yeah, for every, if we accomplish our goal, we get a certain percentage back, and if we go over our goal, we get like 50% of that back, I think,
Yes.
right? And then we get 10% back of anything else that, in our goal, within our goal. So, it really does benefit the parish too. It's not just, anything that benefits the diocese benefits us, but we get direct
Yes.
money from that. And today is the feast of the chair of St. Peter.
Yes, this is a feast, and this is a celebration and an opportunity to pray for the ministry of our Holy Father, who follows as the successor of St. Peter, and recognizing the teaching role of the papacy, the teaching role of the Pope, and I think it's very to our advantage to pray, especially this week, as the Holy Father, with the presidents of all the bishops' conferences, the patriarchs and metropolitans of the Eastern Rite churches in communion with Rome, as well as the major superiors of both women and men religious orders, are gathering in Rome to deal with and to lay out the footprint for dealing with the scourge, sin, and crime of child abuse within the church.
I was thinking this morning about that, because that's, on our minds very, very much, and on our hearts this week, after that list came out. Last week was like when you get together with your siblings and talk about, days past and all the adventures that you have, and then half of those stories end in, man, why are we still alive? And you don't realize at the time the danger that you were in, or, what kind of peril you were putting yourself at. And this week, chatting with friends, who were teenagers with me, in youth ministry and stuff, when the list came out, it was the same. We were talking about all the old stories and, you know, our interactions with some of these guys and thinking, you know, we didn't realize at the time the peril that we might have been in. Oh, sometimes we did, but you know, most of the time not. And it was kind of disconcerting, you know?
I think it's very hard to believe that some of those priests and deacons who we knew, respected, worked with, or, you know, were kind of mentors to us, or were our priests, or our clergy, could do such terrible things.
Yeah.
And part of that, I believe, is kind of the expectations we place on other human beings because of their titles and because of their positions in the community.
Yeah.
And I think that has to be let go of, you know. And it doesn't mean you don't trust your priests. I mean, but we have to realize that they are men. We are men. We sin, and we make mistakes. And I think our people know that. I think it's painful to realize that it was hidden, that it was covered up, that individuals were moved around. And one of the things that I noticed, because if you go on YouTube, you can see clips from the summit, and the language is very frank. You know, both the Holy Father has asked for concrete steps, and not just we're sorry, we did wrong. He has already given out a document of 21 concrete points that need to be part of the different conferences' implementation. He's already asked the leadership of the summit to remain in Rome afterwards, to work with him, to follow up with implementation, because you know what happens, and this happens even in a parish. You work on something, and then you say, okay, it's done, but it never gets implemented. And I think this needs to be implemented. Conferences are, because there is going to be resistance. There's always resistance when you ask for a change of behavior. Because everybody thinks that they're fine. They're fine. You know, the old adage, you know, a lot of things need to be changed, but I don't. We all need change. But a couple of the things they pointed out was to listen, believe, and accompany the survivors of abuse through their pain, through their struggle, and through their lives. I mean, we cannot just say, okay, we did wrong, we're going to change this, now get on with your life. They're struggling. And like you said, you know, you have that reality of, gee, that was happening when I was growing up, or that was happening with this person who I trusted, and it's kind of like a loss of maybe innocence and a loss of trust.
Well, even it makes you feel like a fool too, because you know it happened. You know, even with a coworker, where it was happening right in front of us, and like I didn't see it, and if anybody should have, I should have. So every day I think about like, how did I miss that? How did I miss that? And you just really feel like duped, betrayed, you know, hurt, all of that. But I just want to make a plug for a program that the diocese has, and you know, we have fingerprinting. Every single person who's going to work with children or any kind of vulnerable person has to be fingerprinted and trained in a program called Virtus. And although it is, you know, aimed at our volunteers, you know, those are the people who have to take it, and our staff, of course, we're all required to take it. I would just say parents, we offer it here periodically. We could do another one. We have several of us who are trained to run the programs. Everybody should take this because it is an eye-opener. It's about recognizing abuse when it's occurring, you know, signs that you can see that, you know, might put off a couple of warning signs so that you can intervene for people, and to know how to intervene for people, how to make safety measures. We just cleaned out the closet in TC Hall, and now it's going to be locked. Any door that is not, doesn't have glass in it, has to be locked if there are children or any vulnerable people present. In our church, Frank finally was able to get signs on the door to the ladies' room that says, keep this open during services, because our altar servers go back there, children go back there. And we need to have that door open so that.
Now, let's just clarify, this is not the door into the actual ladies' room.
No. That weird door before.
There's an interesting development in design in our church. There's a door that goes into a small vestibule that then has two other doors to the side, left and right, that are to the, one is to an accessible bathroom, the other is to the ladies' room. And then there's a third door straight ahead that goes into a vesting sacristy for our ministers in choir, and then into the church meeting room. So,
all solid doors, leading the whole way.
and they're all solid doors, there are no windows in that.
So they have to stay open.
So they have to stay open, and that's one of our steps that we have taken to ensure that there's no area where cannot be seen when the church is filled.
Yeah, and that's, if you see me stamping around the church going, why is that door shut? It's because I'm crazy, and I need, I have this real sense to protect children. I can't, not on my watch again. So, if I'm grumpy and running around the gathering area, it's because somebody shut the door. Leave the door open, please.
Is that why you're grumpy?
Yeah, that's the only reason ever.
Oh.
Otherwise, I'm just the most pleasant person you want to meet.
I never realized there was a change in behavior. But one point that I think is important, and for a lot of people who are now saying, why did I miss that? Why was I duped? One of the elements of any type of a person involved in any type of addictive behavior is manipulation. And people who are involved in abuse, whether it's sexual, domestic, verbal, mental or emotional, are very good at manipulating the world around them, so they're always right, and the individuals they focus on in their abuse. And I think we have to recognize that and say that we might have been duped by their manipulative behavior.
But now we got to keep our eyes open.
And that, I think, is an important element, and that's why also in the summit they're asking for transparency, which is going to be rough for us as church because, as I've said many times from the pulpit, bureaucracy was invented by the church, and then we shared it with governments. And I think we have to recognize that's also a major change, is how we do business.
That's right. On a positive note,
yes.
Lent is coming. It's the most wonderful time of the year. We really do love Lent, and it's coming. So we'll talk about that more next week because it'll be closer. But start thinking about what you're going to give up this year.
Well, remember the 3 pillars of Lent is fasting, prayer, and almsgiving. And so, spend some time thinking about it. Just don't slide into Lent. That's one thing we Roman Catholics have started or have become accustomed to. It's like, oh my God, I got to get ashes, and then it's like, what am I going to do for Lent?
Yeah.
So we're giving.
My kids are usually well into Ash Wednesday before they decide what they're going to give us.
And I think this year maybe Lent should take on a very penitential season as we all pray for those who survived abuse and are still struggling with life. To pray for the abusers and their conversion and realization of what they have done. Pray for our bishops to be accountable and transparent as they work through this process. And to pray for society, for as painful as it is for us as Catholics to see our own dirty laundry, abuse is taking place throughout our society, and children and young adults are being victimized and abused at all levels, and that needs to stop too.
Yep.
See you this weekend at Mass.
God bless.